It's Joe with Cockeyed Homestead. Today we're making Triple Berry Delight for Mel. It's a jam that does not include strawberries. After planting them all and making strawberry jam last year, she says, you know, I really don't care for strawberries, so we're going to make something special for her. Now, this is a no pectin added jam. I got it from my grandmother's journal. You're going to take about 4 cups of fruit. In this case, I've got blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries. And we're going to put it in our heavy bottom pot. And, oh, there it is. I was looking for my measuring cup. We're going to add 6 cups, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice to boost the acid amount in the fruit. And we're going to take 6 cups of sugar. This is the second time I've made this and attempted to film it. The first time, the first half just ended up all messy. So I'm doing it over again. Mel is over in the other counter sorting the day's harvest of herbs onto the rack.
Another one, hold on.
Onto the cookie sheets. I don't know about you, but without air conditioning, it's mighty warm outside. So we've stopped using our oven to cook with. We'll use our little toaster oven, or you know, if we really need to bake something, but we don't even turn on the big oven. So the pilot light burns and does nothing. So we use the oven to dehydrate our herbs.
May as well put it to use.
Yep, no sense in wasting money. Grab myself a spatula to stir it all up with. And I'm going to cook this on a low to medium flame until it
Excuse
me. She's washing that's sage, isn't it?
Yeah. Some of this has got shape.
Yeah, well, that's...
I got the best of it last time.
Yeah. Well, I pulled the largest leaves off, like I usually do, and saved the rest to grow up a little bit more. Anyhow, I'm going to stir this up until all the sugars combine with the juice, and then I'm going to let it cook down about halfway until it gels on its own without the pectin. Now when you do this, you want to make sure to scrape the sides of the pot, because all that crystallized sugar and juice is up on the sides. And the berries will continue to let off juice. As far as I know, raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries don't harvest at the same time. I mean, my blueberries come in and raspberries late summer. Blackberries, the first part of spring. So, you gather them up, you put them in the freezer, and then when you're ready to make this, you just throw it all in a pot.
Or you buy the freezer type.
Or you buy the freezer type. The raspberries and blackberries have cooked down into a sauce. And my grandmother says to Mash it with a potato masher so you don't end up with huge hunks of blueberries. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm leaving some of the blueberries whole so you get chunks of fruit in there. But I've got my berry mash. To check whether it's ready or not, I've got a small glass of water with an ice cube in it. When I drip the juice into it, it will gel into a little ball, and it's not quite there yet, so I'm going to let it cook for a little bit longer. It has reduced in the pot by half. Pectin just makes this process go a lot faster. Whenever I want to learn something new from the old days, I pull my grandmother's journal out. She raised a mess of kids. She had 14, but she raised 12 to an adult through the Depression and everything else. So if anybody knows how to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, it would have been my grandmother. Now I'm going to drop a little of this juice. It still looks runny, but when I drop it into the ice water, I can actually pick it up. Well, it's not letting me pick it up, but it's, yeah, there you go. As you can see, it's oh, yummy. It's in a jellied state, and I've got quite a bit of foam on my jam here, so I'm just going to take a teaspoon of butter, an old trick my mama taught me, to just knock that foam right out of there. Turn off my heat because I don't need it anymore. It's been close to an hour. Alright, foam's all gone, or almost all gone. I can scoop it up and fill my jars. Okay, I ended up with 5 3/4 jars. This one's going to go in the refrigerator for Mel to enjoy, but always, right, wipe your rim, the little bowl of vinegar, because if you ever had a jar not seal and go bad, you would realize what a waste it is. Especially after all this energy of making this special jam. All because I didn't want to go to the store. Hey, we can be lazy from time to time, can't we? Grab my little magnet thing because that water is hot. I've got my pot on the stove, bringing it up to a boil. My jars are now really, really hot, now that the jam has been put in them. You know, when I bought my canning kit years and years and years ago, it came with a jar tightener thing. I've never used it. That was dumb. So I guess some people might use it, but I always say armpit tight'll do. Because I can't quite do finger tight with one hand, that doesn't work. So I loose tighten it and then give it half a twist more with the jar under my armpit. Bandana Grandma left me a message about how do you do this and that with just one hand, because she's had surgery on her wrist or on her hand and she's got it all bandaged up and in a splint. You use whatever you have. A lot of times, teeth, armpits, whatever you have handy that you can use to make do. Now I've got a washcloth that I've made. It's really, really thick. I'm going to put it down in this pot of boiling water and put my jars in. Now you want the water to just cover these jars. And you don't want the jars to hit the bottom of the pot, or they will burst on you. I was telling Mel when I went to give her a spoonful of jam, just the amount of time that it took for this jam to cool down a bit, and I mean a bit. All I did was wash the pan. You can see how thick and luscious this is. But I've got my jars in the water. I'm going to add enough hot water to bring it over the top. Wait for it to come to a boil. And process it for 10 minutes. That's all, just 10 minutes. Just enough to get everything hot and for the lids to seal. This jar will go in the refrigerator for Mel. And yeah. Okay, my timer's gone off. I turn off the heat. Grab my little jar lifter.
Which
Now,
I always grab upside down.
Yeah, you do. Now, since this jar isn't sealed, we put an X on top. That way we know which goes into storage and which goes in the fridge. But it's water bath can for 10 minutes. And you hear that ping. You know what that means. We don't have to refrigerate it anymore until it's opened. I don't think there's a happier sound to someone that cans is that jar going ping, ping, ping. All your labor of love is done. And there we have 5 half pints of my Triple Berry Delight from Mel. And that's how my grandmother did it. Another word here. This is 4 pounds, 3 pounds of mushrooms dehydrated in this pint jar. It shrinks down to nothing. In case you didn't know, mushrooms are mostly water. Since we're not using our oven because it's summertime, we line a cookie sheet with parchment or paper towels and we slide whatever we want to dehydrate in the oven. We're wasting gas on Pilot Light otherwise, so just a frugal tip. This has been Joe with the Cockeyed Homestead. Y'all have a blessed day.